Hi everyone, my name is Sam and welcome to Stormy Chefs. Today we're going to be making banoffee pie, which is banana toffee pie. The pie originally came from England, where it was coffee toffee pie, but it slowly evolved into banoffee pie as the years have gone on. So for our banoffee pie today, there's going to be 4 layers. The first is our graham cracker crust. The second is our layer of delicious caramel. Our third layer are sliced ripe bananas, and the fourth is a vanilla whipped cream. So for our crust, for our banoffee pie, we're gonna need 10 sheets of whole graham crackers, or 1.5 cups of graham cracker. If you don't have graham crackers available where you are, you can also use digestive cookies or Biscoff cookies, or really any substitute that you would like to use. In addition to our graham crackers, we're also going to need 5 tablespoons of unsalted butter and then 1/3 cup of white sugar. For our next layer, we're going to be making the caramel sauce. And the ingredients for that we'll need today are 1 can of condensed milk, another 5 tablespoons of unsalted butter, and 1/3 cup of brown sugar. For the third layer, it's just going to be sliced bananas. Very, very simple. So we have 2 bananas here that we're going to slice thinly when we assemble our pie. And then for our last layer, we're going to make vanilla whipped cream. So we're going to have 2 cups of heavy whipping cream, 1/4 cup of white sugar, and then a little bit of vanilla extract, just 1 teaspoon. So those are the ingredients that we'll be using today in our banoffee pie. And then let's now move on to what cooking equipment we're going to need. So in order to make our graham cracker crust, we're going to use a rolling pin and a Ziploc bag in order to make the graham cracker crumbs. In order to make our caramel sauce, we'll use just regular 1 small saucepan and a can opener to open our can of condensed milk. For our bananas, we will need a small knife and a chopping board. And for our whipping cream, we'll need a hand mixer or a stand mixer like this KitchenAid here. Or if you don't have one of those, you can just use your arms and really build up your muscles by whisking really fast. In addition to all of that equipment, you'll need your pie tin. What would we do without it? So this is what we're gonna make our crust in and what we're gonna build our banoffee pie out of. All right, so first for the cooking, we're gonna get started by making our caramel sauce. And in order to make them, we're going to first open up our can of sweetened condensed milk. So a little safety warning here, if you're not comfortable using a can opener yet, just ask an adult, just ask for help, super simple. And also, when you're opening the lid for your can, it has a really sharp edge, so be careful not to cut yourself. So first we're just gonna open this can of sweetened condensed milk. All right, now that our can of sweetened condensed milk is open, like so, we're going to be really careful opening it up. And we're going to put our butter and our sugar into our small saucepan and then turn on the saucepan to medium heat. And we're just going to stir it to make sure that the butter is dissolved fully and that the brown sugar and the butter come together to mix and make one homogeneous mixture. So we're just gonna cook this down on medium heat until it's all dissolved and one mixture. And don't forget to just keep mixing the butter and the sugar together during this time. You want to make sure that everything is evenly dissolved and cooking properly. So once the butter and sugar is evenly dissolved and you can't see any more sugar granules, it should start to look something like this. And then at this point, you're going to add in the sweetened condensed milk to our butter and brown sugar and keep mixing. So now our sweetened condensed milk is in the saucepan. We're going to increase the heat until our mixture starts to boil, and we're just going to boil it for 60 seconds, stirring the entire time. And after it's reached a rapid boil, so you see lots and lots of little bubbles coming out of the saucepan, then you're going to turn off your heat and let your caramel sit for a little bit. So let's turn on the heat a little bit higher. Mixing all the time. Alright, so now that our caramel has been boiling for 1 full minute, I've turned the heat off and it's really, really boiling now. If you can see up here, it's gotten really bubbly and delicious looking, and that's how we know that our caramel is done. Alright, so I'm just gonna put that down and leave it to the side. Maybe give it a couple last little stirs, and then we're gonna leave it to cool. So next we're gonna make our graham cracker crust. And to start, we're going to take our 10 sheets of graham cracker and place them inside a Ziploc bag. So we have our Ziploc bag here, and we're just going to place all 10 sheets all together in the Ziploc bag. You can seal it up just a little bit to make sure that the crumbs don't come out, right? So now we're going to use our rolling pin and just mash up all the graham crackers. And when you're doing this, you can really get in there and have some fun with it. So don't be afraid to use a little bit of your muscles that you also might use when you're whipping your whipping cream. So you want to make sure that when you're doing your graham crackers, you want to make a fine sand, because you don't want any big chunks in your graham cracker crust for your pie, right? So now that we have our fine graham cracker crumb, we're just going to place them in our mixing bowl, and to them we're also going to add our melted 5 tablespoons of unsalted butter and 1/3 cup of white sugar. If you don't want to add the full 1/3 cup, that's okay. Just do it to however sweet you want to make it. So in go our graham cracker crumbs. Alright, our graham cracker crumbs are in, and in goes our butter and our white sugar. Alright, I'm just going to reserve about this much. So just grab a regular kitchen spoon, something that you would eat your cereal with or any meal, and just mix all your graham cracker and your butter together so it's all nice and sandy. And so you can't see any visible chunks of butter anymore. So once you're done mixing your graham cracker, butter, and sugar together, it should kind of look like this, kind of a wet sand consistency. So that's what it should look like, just kind of like wet graham crackers, to be honest. And then you're going to place them in your pie tin. Make sure that you have a nice, even base. So if you want to use your fingertips to press the pie crust into the tin, that's fine. But one great trick that you can use is to use a clean cup and use the base of it to press down on the graham crackers to make sure that they're really packed into the crust and make sure that the base is even. Once you have your pie crust in the pie tin, you're going to put it in our preheated oven, which has been preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 177 degrees Celsius. And you're going to bake it until the pie crust is toasted, which should take about 15 minutes. So while we wait for our pie crust to finish toasting in the oven, let's move on to making our whipped cream. So what we'll need to make our whipped cream is we're going to take out our stand mixer. And like I said earlier during our cooking equipment portion, if you don't have a stand mixer, you can use an electric hand mixer or just a good old-fashioned whisk and really strengthen your arm muscles by whisking really, really fast. But today, we're just going to use a regular old stand mixer. And we're going to take our heavy whipping cream, 2 cups, pour that in. We're going to take our 1/3 cup of regular white sugar and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm just gonna eyeball it. We're going to turn it on, raise our bowl, and just start slow, because if we turn on our stand mixer too fast and too high, we're gonna have whipped cream all over the kitchen, and that's not what we want. So we're gonna start slow just to stir all the ingredients together and then increase our speed to whip it. So we're just gonna wait until we have nice, firm whipped cream. It should take about 3 to 4 minutes on the stand mixer, but will depend on what machine you're using or if you're just using your arms. All right, so let's take a look at our whipped cream now. So if you take your whisk attachment and you turn it upside down, the peaks should keep staying up. They shouldn't turn over or flop over at all. They should be nice and firm. So that's how you know that your whipped cream is done whipping. All right, now that we've got our pie crust, our whipped cream, and our caramel all finished, let's just slice up our bananas. Super easy, and then we will assemble our pie. So my little trick for peeling bananas is you can do it the way that the monkeys do. You can, instead of peeling it from the top end, you can peel it from the bottom, and it's a lot easier to peel. See? And then our second banana. Peeling it just like the monkeys do. Alrighty. So here are 2 peeled bananas, and then we're just gonna slice them into thin coins so that we can layer them on the bottom of our pie. Now our bananas are all sliced, we can get to assembling our banoffee pie. So now we're gonna take the pie crust out of the oven, and when we're taking things out of the oven, always be careful because the oven's so hot. Be careful and make sure that you're wearing heat protecting gloves. Yum. Look, so now we can see that our pie crust is perfectly toasted, not burnt, just nice and dark brown. And then what we'll do first is we're just going to take our caramel sauce that we made earlier and spread it around the base of our pie tin so that it's one nice and even layer. We're just going to smooth it into one even layer across the base of our pie. Once we have our caramel sauce all evenly coating the base of our pie crust, we're gonna let it cool in the fridge for 1 hour until the caramel has thickened up nicely and everything is cool to the touch. Our pie is finished cooling, the caramel is cool to the touch, and it's perfect because now we're gonna layer on our bananas and whipped cream and we don't have to worry about things melting all over the place. So we're just gonna take our bananas slice by slice and just lay them down. Simple as that. Our bananas down in one even layer, we're going to dollop our whipped cream on top. And once you've cleaned up the whipped cream, you can make them into nice, really beautiful twirls and dollops so that they look like airy and like clouds. Now that our banoffee pie has been topped with the whipped cream and looks absolutely delectable, we can, if you want to, you can shave some chocolate on top or dust over some cocoa powder, or you could add some nuts. Or you could just leave it as is because it's equally as delicious just right now. Thank you so much for coming to Stormy Chefs today. I am Sam and I'm so excited to dig into this banoffee pie.